Kingdom Kalesis has recently come to power. It has an interesting array of regions within its territories, including the River Anduin on its eastern borders. Ruling Kalesis is Queen ARRIELE, the recently crowned queen of this kingdom. Her neighbors, slightly to the south, is the Goblin Kingdom of Maldragor. Maldragor is an older kingdom, ruled by the Goblin King Sharbad, also known as the King of Swarms, named after the military tactics that he used while acquiring the kingdom in the old age. The same king that reordered the reconstruction to several doors in some of the towers of the kingdom because they were too tall, a negative message to goblin society. Here you can see the position of the two kingdoms, Kalesis in red and Maldragor in green, slightly to the east and south of Kalesis. It was well known that both rulers did not trust each other, and petty insults between them was often the case. The drums of war were heard when the death of a young noblewoman and her human guard were blamed on Sharbad. The fact that the caravan supplies were left intact was very suspicious, but it was never proven that Sharbad was ever involved. Outraged by this insult, King Sharbad sends a small army to the southern border of Kalesis. Here, an elf patrol actually intercepted the army in a border clash, and both fought. Militarily, the battle was classified as a skirmish, but it was a very important and key element in the war to come, while both kingdoms had not yet declared war on each other. It was soon going to become clear that this would be a long and brutal conflict. A punitive expedition in retaliation for Sharbad's crossing of Kalesis' borders was quickly set up. Queen ARRIELE went for the jugular. She sent an army to destroy the Oathmarks that were precious to Kingdom Maldragor. The attack would be led by a young and ambitious elfin officer named Elora. She led her mountain lion cavalry straight for the Oathmarks. Her cavalry would become infamous in this battle, the cavalry that destroyed the Oathmarks. One of the Oathmark monuments was sacred to the Goblin King, something that Sharbad would never forgive. Sharbad had sent giant spiders in this battle. This was the first time that such creatures were used, knowing that elves had an innate fear of the creatures. But no matter the giant spiders, Elora eluded them and destroyed the Oathmark. During this battle, Kalesis would take hold of one of the regions in Maldragor's territories, and she would take over the kennels. Famous for the huntmasters and their warhounds, which would now reluctantly serve Kalesis. Sharbad was furious, immediately declared war on Kalesis, and in the Battle of the Anduin River, the site of a bridge, both armies fought. This time, Sharbad summoned the help of the elfin sorceress Alidra. The fight was brutal. It was another border strike, this time initiated by Sharbad. The elven archers defended the territory well, however. And this was the first time that ARRIELE used river trolls in her army. Such things were not heard of in elf armies. Both armies clashed. Dwarf infantry and goblin infantry spilled their blood on the battlefield. While the fight raged on, clearly the battle went in Khaleesi's favor. This battle would be known as the battle where magic failed. Both sorcerers sought to fight with magic, but for whatever reasons, the magic failed. In the Battle of the Desert Pass, King Sharbad knows that he needs a victory. So he decides to send an army south into the Blazing Lands, into a region called the Desert Pass, long known for black market travel by many of the merchants in the region. But as the army crossed the Desert Pass, there was Khaleesi. Her soldiers were camped in the Desert Pass, perhaps anticipating King Sharbad's move. And both armies clashed here as well. Here, however, Elora's cavalry and infantry were actually defeated, and Elora herself almost died in the fight. She managed to escape, however. Casualties on both sides of the Desert Pass were horrendous, with goblin blood being spilled in droves. But so too the elves. The proud mountain lion cavalry was all but decimated. So this battle raised the question, why is Sharbad using only goblins? Why is goblin blood being spilled when there are plenty of humans and other races within the kingdom? That is a matter of speculation. But as both kingdoms prepare for their next fight, Queen ARRIELE has seen that the Goblin Kingdom is proving to be a little more difficult than she first thought. This defeat at the Desert Pass, with the destruction of the elf cavalry, has been a difficult pill to swallow for Khaleesi. What happens next?